using the sample function on your Skoog. Here's my Skoog. Got that on a brass sound at the moment. But if I want to use samples with my Skoog, I have to select the sampling panel using the sample tab here with the little microphone icon on it. Click that. That brings the sample panel forward. And now there's two different ways of getting sounds onto your Skoog. One is to use pre-recorded samples, pre-existing samples, to drag onto your Skoog. Let's have a look here. Here's some that I've downloaded from the Skoog website. Single samples. Female singer. And let's take far onto the, let's put it on the blue side. So you simply drag the sample to the side you want, to the buffer, and now on the blue, I have that sample. Yellow.
Ray.
Green.
Me. So, me, re, fa, ray.
It's very easy. Just drag the sounds to the side you want them to be on. And then when you have a set of sounds on the Skoog, a set of samples that you like and set up in the right way, then you can save those by using the save dialog down here. So if we click save, that will save the sample set. Let's call it voice. On the desktop, there we go. Now, there's a couple of other functions. I can clear the samples from the buffers using this clear all button. There we go. And now, if I want to get those samples back, I can do a couple of things. Let's get rid of this window. I can use the open file dialog to go to my desktop, select that folder, load them back in.
Fa, re, mi, fa.
Okay. Or I could very simply drag that into here. So let's do that. Let's clear them. Let's drag the folder. Here we are, anywhere into one of the buffers, and you can see it loads back.
Fa, re, so, re, fa.
So that's dragging sounds into the sample buffers. We have one for each surface here. Now let's clear them again. The other thing that we can do is we can record directly into the software. This is a record button on the left-hand side of each of the sample buffers. Let's click record. Let's do it on the red one this time. There we go. Now if I... There we go, and the sample is recorded there. Now I can edit the samples by clicking and dragging the mouse over it. I can select a portion, and then I have a trim function here. I can get rid of the silences there. And I also have a few other functions. I can pitch the samples, so I can adjust the pitch up. Or I can bring it down. And I can do this independently for each of the sample buffers. However, I can also make use of the note selection panel by pressing this button here, which says follow keyboard. So what this does then is create a pitch spacing based on what's entered into the note selection panel here, whether it's either the pentatonix or it could be a preloaded set of notes or some user-defined notes as selected using the user-defined mode here. But let's leave it on a pentatonic spacing. Let's go back to the sample tab. Now, there we go. Now, if I want to take this one sample, and I can copy that to all of the buffers now, and now I have a whole instrument set up with one sound, which is a really fun thing to do. Let's bring that down an octave there. Let's see. Now the tuning won't be exactly as the tonic is displayed. It will be a minor or a major spacing if you're using the preset pentatonix, but you can use the transpose and tune to get the pitching just as you want it, because the pitching works relative to what you record in. So depending on what pitch I record in, it will be shifting up and down relative to that. So to tune it, it takes a little bit, but I can already start having some fun with that. Now, one of the other key things you can do with these samples is you can play them in different ways. So at the moment, I'm using the press and hold function. So here I can illustrate that. If I press, it only plays for as long as I'm holding the surface down. There we go. Now, there's some other functions. I can just use the tap function, which is just triggering the samples using a single touch. There you see, and it plays the whole sample through. There we go. Or I can use the squeeze function here. Now I have to let the buffers process there, and then now I can control the playhead of the sample using pressure. So you can see as I press, it's moving through the sample. There we go. Let's bring the pitching down a little bit. Let's try that. And it lets me play with the samples in a really tactile way. If I go to poly here, then I can start playing around and having some really good tactile manipulation of the sounds in really quite a unique way. And that's how to use the sampler. Either record straight in, drag sounds in. Once you have them set up how you want, you can save them, you can edit them, you can pitch them. Whole lot of fun.